welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. I'm Kinda Caitlin, and today we'll be taking a look into your April blessings. Let's dive right in.
So welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. I do new readings every single Monday on love, career, spirituality, self-growth, and empowerment. Today, we're looking into the month of April in a unique way.
Before we go into today's piles, I want to quickly mention how and where you can support me and yourself through my offerings I provide. This month, I have snail mail readings. These readings are typed up on a vintage typewriter and wax sealed for your eyes only. These are great for any questions that you might have. Also, another offering I provide is magical spell and ritual paper made with 100% recycled paper used with locally dried herbs and flowers. So if you're interested in any of the offerings I just mentioned, feel free to check out the information down in the description below. Send me an email or DM me on Instagram if you have any questions. With all that being said, let's get into today's piles.
So for today, we have 3 different piles. For pile number 1, we have an orange hexagon and a red star. That's pile 1. For pile 2, we have a green dot and a yellow sun. That's pile 2. For pile 3, we have a purple ring and a blue star. And that's pile 3.
So before you head off into your pile, I invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath. This is to ground your energy here. Let's take that breath now.
As always, there is no right or wrong way to choose your pile. Choose 1, 2, 3, or all of the piles. Start with 1, change your mind midway. No right or wrong way. All of the timestamps will be below in the description, as well as the chapter marks for each of the piles. Also in the description, you'll find the offerings I mentioned earlier, such as the snail mail readings and the magical spell paper. I also have my Instagram linked below, where you can stay up to date with my offerings and stay connected. With all of that said, let's move on to pile number 1. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this specific tile with the orange and red, then this is the pile for you. And yes, this is an April Fool's video. So we are going to be doing a lot of different things here, and the intro is actually done by my amazing sisters who are so supportive of this channel and this space, as well as my brother who has helped provide a lot for this space. So just wanted to include them here in the beginning and kind of confuse you guys a little bit to make this a more fun monthly reading and video. So yeah, today we're going to be playing around with a lot of different types of tools. So this is going to be a fun one. Definitely grab some water, some tea, a nice, snack, whatever you want to get cozy, because this is going to be a very fun, intuitive one that I definitely invite you guys to get intuitive with the different colors and the different types of cards that we'll be using, because we're going to be using the charms, and we are going to still be using the watercolor affirmations, but we're also going to be using all different types of tools that are only specific to specific games. So we have playing cards as our tarot cards. We have hues and clues over here. We also have Picturica and Harry Potter trading cards. And then we also have letter tiles here, which are from the game Bananagrams. So we're going to be playing around with a lot of different things here to play around with that fun April Fool's kind of energy. But this is going to be a legit reading, so like I said, feel free to play around with your own intuition. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. So first we're going to be looking into with these playing cards, which is actually great as a tarot deck. If you guys don't have a tarot deck or something you can use as a tarot deck, a simple deck of playing cards, this is actually how I first started learning tarot. So and specifically with this deck, so this is great pro tip. Just use a simple playing card deck to get familiar with tarot. But anyways, feel free to send your energy in, as we are going to be looking into 3 cards to look into the main energies that you have coming in for the month. So here we go. Group 1, what do you have coming in for your main energies for the month of April? April's energies. What do we need to know here? Group 1. Feeling this card here. Okay, so we have the Jack of Hearts. This is a very passionate knight card, also known as the Knight of Cups. Very intuitive, very much just follows their heart, follows their feelings, very in touch with their feelings. They may not be the best at filtering through their emotions, but they do really take the time to really feel them. So it may be a more emotional month on all different types of the spectrum of emotion, but you're definitely going to be honing in on that. So let's see what else there is here. Group 1. What do you have coming in and what's in store for your month of April? Okay, also feeling this bottom card. Okay, so we've got both 2 different court cards. So we have both the Jack and the Knight of Cups. I just realized you have the Knight of Cups as well. Definitely an emotional month. Definitely a month that you're going to be in touch with your emotions, possibly even because we have, like I said, going from a place of maybe not being as great at navigating your emotions, navigating your emotional landscape, your intuition, things like that, your creativity even. It seems like you're almost going to be leveling up there because we're going from a Jack to a King. So that's really interesting. Let's see one more here to get a little bit more context possibly. Definitely feel free to send your energy in. Okay, so we also have the 7 of Wands here. And the 7 of Wands has a very different energy. It's much more protective, much more empowering as well. The 7 of Wands has such an empowering message in that usually there's a bunch of people sort of against you, your mind against you, doubt against you, but you're standing up in the flames, you're standing up in your power in that way. So there really is a lot of power coming through from your emotions this month. You can really use them and wield them quite well. You can even see that here with both of the 2 cards that you got with the Jack and the King. You can see they have different tools. So in this case, you've got sort of a sword, and the other case you have more of like a scythe kind of feeling. I'm not exactly sure, an axe, I suppose. And they're both facing this direction as well. So I am just getting this feeling just based off of these first 3 cards, and we will be diving a lot deeper here in a minute. But like I said, an emotionally charged month, a very creative month, but there is a feeling of wanting to guard your emotions possibly from others. So this feeling of like, wanting to cry with a good book or cry with a good movie or something like that, or wanting to really feel your emotions, but needing space to do that where you feel safe to do that. So that may be making emotional boundaries for yourself, creating spaces where that feels safe for you with specific people that make you feel safe to do that, because I think that's going to be really important. You may be a water sign in your sun, moon, or rising. There could just be a lot bubbling up to the surface as well this month that's just creating this space of really, really high highs and really, really low lows. So that's something to just keep in mind. And with the 7, it also can talk just beyond the emotional landscape. It can talk about adversity and rising above adversity and knowing that if it's your thoughts that are against you, if it's other people that are against you, if there's, societies against you, that you still find a way to, wield your own power in a way that is, kind of making you feel empowered and making you feel like you can really, stand up in your truth and to who you are. I also just noticed as well, we were talking about how we were wielding that axe, but you also have a little pen as well. So within creativity, you may be writing blog posts, writing Instagram posts, writing in a book or a novel, poetry even, something like that. If you want to find a way to, maybe if you are into poetry, definitely look into escape roll. That's something I'm going to be participating in this month, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's what I'm mainly getting from your card so far is creativity, a lot of emotion, standing in your power this month. Really wonderful so far. But let's look a little bit deeper. So next we're going to look into your biggest blessing for the month. And we're going to be using these Picture-Rika cards. They're very fun, very intuitive. There's no words on these, so they're all entirely like these little doodle images. So we're going to see what comes through. So let's see your biggest blessing. Definitely send your energy in. And like I said, since we're going to be using some unusual tools, definitely have your own intuition come in here. Maybe you'll see certain things in the cards. So let's see, group one. What do you have coming in for your biggest blessing for the month of April? Okay, this is a fun one as well. Definitely, there's such like heart in your month. There's such like, I mean, obviously you have heart, but like, I don't know, there's just this feeling of like really coming to the heart of everything that you're doing in life. It just comes with such purity of heart, if that makes sense. Like everything that you do 100% from your heart space, which would make sense why you maybe want some of that, like those boundaries, those emotional boundaries, because, you know, when we have our heart on our sleeve, that is like prone to, you know, a heartbreak and other things that can come in too. So there is that need for those boundaries. But what I do think is sweet in terms of getting your blessing here is we do have the monkey. And for me, monkeys were my favorite when I was a kid. I was that kid that always was on the monkey bars and things like that. And maybe you could even relate to that. But it makes me think that, one, you've got really good problem solving. If you think of monkey bars, you're quickly making decisions, quickly moving through things. There's this ease to the decisions that you'll be making for the month that is going to be a really good blessing for you. But I'm also just getting this feeling that like there's such silliness and like laughter and fun and nostalgia that's just pouring through your month, and I think it's going to give you a lot of joy even in the hard stuff. Like it's just going to create those really, really big highs, and like a monkey does, they swing back and forth. That pendulum swings a lot farther, so you will have those lower lows possibly, but those highs are going to be really wonderful and very like lighthearted, and I think that's going to be really wonderful. I love that so much. Definitely see what monkeys mean to you and how that comes through. But we're also going to move on to another card that we're going to look into for the month. So we're going to be using, if you guys haven't played this game, it's really fun, but it is Hues and Clues. And on the back, each of them have all different types of colors. And so I want to look into especially since we have such an emotional landscape here, into a relationship message for the month. So instead of looking for advice, we're really going to be looking into what the colors intuitively are kind of bringing to the mood of your relationships this month. So you can look into any type of relationship. These can be platonic, these can be familial, relationship with guides, yourself, romantic relationships, however you would like, but definitely keep that energy in mind as we pull one of these cards. So we're going to look into the emotional landscape here using color for a relationship for group one. Group one, what do we have coming through here for their emotional landscape this month? Okay, here we go. Let's see. For your emotional landscape within your relationships, we have these different ones. So there are both letters and numbers, so this might actually help you within trying to indicate maybe which of the specific ones are coming through for you, and see what colors mean to you. Obviously, when I see the N2 up here, it's giving me like really energetic vibes, sort of like that monkey. But with the red, this is giving me more like stop, caution, or really rooted energy. Over here, it's not really a royal purple. It's kind of got a lilac, dreamy kind of vibe to it. And then the top here with I-14, I'm getting more of like this bland feeling, like a bland cereal brand. So there might be some boredom in the relationship that you have right now, something to spice it up with. But like I said, we have N2, I-14, F20, and C6. So see how that comes through for you. I really like these, honestly. They're a lot of fun to play around with. So definitely see which colors are really sparking to you and what color theory means to you, and kind of connect it with your intuition here. Oh, and I also just noticed that the number 49 is at the very, very bottom down there as well, so that may also resonate in some way for some of you. So let's go ahead and move on to your next cards, which are going to be using these Harry Potter trading cards. These were way before the crazy stuff with JK, so just know I definitely am not on that side of what she preaches, but I have had these since I was a kid, so I thought these would be really fun to use. So these we're going to be using to pull a lesson card for the month, and then also an advice card from Spirit. So if you work with any guides, feel free to call those of them in. So let's look into your lesson card here first. So what is a lesson you're going to be navigating within the month of April? Group 1. Feel free to send your energy, as always, through time and space for these. Okay, so we got a lot here. Let's keep going. Let's see if there's anything else coming through here. If not, I think I might. Nope, okay, we got one. Let's see. So we got a couple that came through. So I've decided to fish back out this Lee Jordan card because it did come out and I thought that we didn't need it, but I am getting this feeling of like friendship from this card, like it has something to do with a friend. And then the lessons that are coming through, we have Trevor over here, which it says here, when they shook their heads, he wailed, "I lost him. He keeps getting away from me." And then we have Injured. So I have this feeling like you have a friend in your life that is currently going through some like heavy stuff, or you're personally maybe going through some heavy stuff, especially since we have those big highs and big lows, that you may just have people who you haven't been able to contact with or be in contact with, especially since we have that "I lost them." Hopefully you can read that down there. It says it down here, but there's with that Trevor card, and then also the Injured card is just giving me that feeling, like I said, that there's someone who just needs your help right now. Maybe you need to be a shoulder to cry on or something like that, and that's going to be a lesson that you're going to be learning through the month, to be there for someone who may need you or ask for the help if you are that person. So that's what's coming through most for those 3 cards. But I do want to pull another one now to look into any advice coming through for the month. So any advice from Spirit for group 1. Okay. Interesting. So you got Race for the Snitch. It says here, Harry was faster than Higgs. He could see the little round ball. Wings fluttering, darting up ahead. So this is giving me this feeling that, like, if you have a competitive spirit of any kind, that it might actually kind of benefit you, seeing as we also have the 7 of Wands, which can showcase, like, winning, sometimes having people against you because you won something that somebody really wanted. There could be this competitive nature that's around you in your work environment, in your home. Maybe you're playing like a family game night or something like that, maybe connecting with friends in that way. See how it resonates for you. But there is this competitive nature, and I do think it's less about obviously winning, but I do think that it's about more so keeping your eye on the target. Harry's looking for the little snitch. If you guys have watched Harry Potter, that is, they're looking for the little snitch in the game. So this is about trying to keep your eye on the prize, and that's sort of the advice that you have coming through. So if there is something like that coming up in your life within April, if there's some like really big goal or vision that you're after, it's about keeping your eye on the prize for that. So I do think I've been talking a lot because it's really fun to play around with these new cards, but we are going to go ahead and pull a couple of tiles. These are definitely going to be mostly intuitive for you. I'm probably not going to play around with them too much, so I want to see what comes through for you for names, dates, places, other sorts of intuitive messages, and then we'll move on to your charms, and also watercolor affirmations. So with that all said, if you are enjoying this video so far and the fun nature of these, definitely feel free to give this video a like. I really do appreciate it so much. And if you haven't subscribed, feel free to as well. But we're going to go ahead and pull you some of these. So let's see, group 1, what messages are coming through here?
Okay. These are the letters that we have here for you. So we have the letter C, S, S. So we have two S's here. The L, O, and R. Honestly, scissor is kind of coming through for me. Scissors, maybe cutting something out of your life or giving yourself that space to do that. Could even be a creative hobby like we talked about earlier. I'm also getting like licorice for whatever reason, or lacrosse. So see how those come through. But that's what we have here so far for your letter tiles. Let's go ahead and pull you an affirmation for the month. So an affirmation for group 1. You could put these on your mirror, put it in your planner, do whatever you feel would be useful to you. So we have, find that way to rekindle that fire inside you. Interesting, another creative message coming through. So whenever I see this, it's also about relighting your fire for life, relighting your fire for creativity, relighting that fire inside you to even want to compete, to do something, right? So I really like that. It's giving me this feeling of like igniting that power that we were talking about earlier with the 7 of wands here, and reigniting that within you, letting your emotions flow through that and being more playful. So I really like that so far for your cards and your charms. Such a fun pile so far. Let's go ahead and see your charms. So, okay. Feel free to send your energy in. This is going to give us those small details. We're going to be casting them right on top of the cards, which I think is going to be really helpful with these different kinds of cards here today. But yeah, feel free to send your energy in, and we're going to mix these up. So April for group 1. Okay, all over the place here. We only had a couple that fell off. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in here in just a second after I kind of move these around a little bit. But I really like this so far. Okay, so let's see. I can't zoom in too much because you'll miss out on a couple of them, but there we go. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you have both the crab and the turtle, both things with really big, like, hardy shells, and also all about the water element, the emotional element, and both of them have come up where they're upside down, which is telling me that you're opening your shell, you're letting, the soft parts of you be vulnerable, and you're allowing that to almost be a power for you, right? Because we have it both on the Jack and or the Knight and the 7 of Wands, all about your power. So I actually think you're going to find a lot of power in allowing your emotional landscape to be on display for others, and having that vulnerable side of yourself be there. What I think is also interesting, where I was talking about how you have possibly a friend in your life that is injured and not really, they're kind of lost, or they're going through a certain difficult, downfall in their life. And then we have the endurance charm of the cactus. This is, all about waiting out the storm, knowing that you're going to get to the other side of it. But it also gives me this like prickly feeling, right? Like they're prickly, it's a very sore subject. So be careful with the way that you speak and how you approach the subject, because it may be something that they are still really navigating, is still very foreign to them, seeing as we have like this fantastical element, a dreamy element to it. May even have to do with maybe a nightmare or something like that. Other things that have come through, we have find that way to rekindle that fire inside you, and then we got the Minnie Mouse charm. So this one always makes me think of like that same nostalgic feeling as well, that creative feeling, putting your creative hat on, possibly even with drawing as well as poetry and other things like it. You got a whole sleuth of charms over here. So we'll start here with your relationship card. We have another fantastical kind of charm. So this is the Cinderella shoe. So this is about kind of racing to the finish line, kind of in the way that Cinderella does, but also that
that feeling of like trying to find the shoe that actually fits, you know what I mean? The one that actually fits you. So if you've been currently looking for someone in your life and you're feeling really energetic about it, maybe something around this N2, seeing as it fell on that one specifically, it may be that you're starting to find the shoe that fits. So see how that resonates for you, especially since this is a relationship card. We also have on your adventure of trying to race for that snitch, we have the puzzle charm, so you might have to have a little bit of strategy involved for this. We also have a whole little sleuth, like I said, of charms showing up here with the silver lining charm around them. So as you can see, there's the silver lining, and the things that are going to be a silver lining for you is that playful energy mixed with flipping and flopping. So being going to the beach or doing this from like that sort of more literal sense, but this also can talk about just allowing yourself to be more flexible with your life, and that's going to give you that more playful energy, that energy to be able to swing from one vine to the next. We also have luck on your side. You're going to be opening maybe a new opportunity that's coming in between this race to this finish line. And then you also have the magical power of the Mickey hat. So you have both the Minnie and Mickey hat showing up in your reading. But this one has more of a like magic manifestation side. So using manifestation to get the thing that you are really racing and competing for could be really useful to you as well. So those are all of the charms and cards. You had a lot of them going on here, so definitely take notes, see what comes through for you. But I had so much fun. I hope you did too. Definitely be sure to give this video a like to let me know you did, and let me know in the comments down below, especially since this is such a interesting one, how things came through for you. Did this feel like a friend? What is it that you're maybe going on this adventure and looking for this snitch for, maybe this monkeying around energy? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. It would be so much fun. And also, if you haven't already and would like to, definitely feel free and consider subscribing to this Kindred Spirit space. I would love to be able to read for you every single Monday for these different empowering readings. And also, if you have been here for a while and would like to support this channel even further to get other types of more specifically divination decks and supplies, then definitely feel free to check out the Kindred tip jar down below, as well as the different offerings that I provide for snail mail readings and spell and magical paper. So definitely feel free to check all of that out down below for the different readings and offerings I provide. And yeah, thank you so much for supporting the space, for being here today, for bringing your energy forward and your intuition, and I hope you had fun. I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 2, but thank you so much for being here, pile 1. See you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this specific tile with the yellow and green, then this is the pile for you. And yes, this is actually me now. My sisters actually were helping me out to do an April Fool's fun and playful video here for you guys today, where we're going to be using a whole bunch of different types of charms and as well as different tools. So I'll go through those here in a minute, but it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys were here last year, then you probably already knew what was going on. But it isn't actually April Fool's when I post this, but I couldn't help myself but try to do something fun for you guys this year. So I hope you enjoy this one. It's going to be a lot more intuitive and a lot more playful, so definitely keep an open mind and your intuition at the forefront here as you get a drink, a snack, a cozy blanket. And we're going to go ahead and get started by using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using several different decks, as I mentioned before. We're going to be using a different kind of tarot deck in that we're going to be using a playing card deck. And if you don't have a tarot deck, this is, as a pro tip, a great place to start for just playing around with divination by using your own playing card deck, a standard playing card deck. It's great. You can also use other types of tools As your intuition is the most important part, today we're going to be using Picturica, Harry Potter trading cards, and the Hues and Clues game. So lots of fun, very playful, definitely keep an open heart, and let's go ahead and get started. I hope you enjoyed the intro with my sisters. Definitely feel free to send a little comment of gratitude towards them down below. They're such supportive sisters, so definitely feel free to send that energy to them. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started, so feel free to send your energy through, and we're going to look for 3 cards to look into the main energies coming through for you for the month of April. So the month of April for group 2, what do you have coming in for the month of April, group 2? The month of April, group 2, what do we have coming through for April? It's this one. Okay, so we have the 5 of Swords, a very competitive nature. This is usually a competition that ends up making you feel worse by winning, if that makes sense, or that you somehow lost something in the act of being competitive. So there is something about a competitive nature here, comparison nature as well, that just didn't really work in your favor at this time. But let's go ahead and see what else there is. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Group 2, what do you have coming in? Group 2. Okay, so we have the 10. I feel like there's another one just right around the corner, so I'll show that one here in a second. There it is. And then the 2 of Spades, also known as the 2 of Swords. So a lot of swords, a lot of intellect, a lot of strategy going on here. So we have the 2 of Swords. This is about making a decision between 2 paths that you could be taking, or multiple paths that you may be in sort of a crossroads feeling of right now. And then you also have the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles has a lot to do with inheritance. It has a lot to do with your family, where you come from, but also like the like vision. If you think of like the vision board of the things that you want in life, this is like your vision board of a card. Like, this is the ideal life that you could possibly have, all of the money, or of the job that you want, the kids that you want, or not, whatever it is that you're looking for in life. This is like your vision board card. And I feel like, based off the cards that we got here, there is this competitive nature to you, to try to get what you want from this vision board. And that you're very focused, you have quite a tunnel vision on what you want, and you're like, okay, so if you're looking for something this month, if you're looking for a new job, a higher paying raise, if you're looking to do like bigger things in your life, or even just anything that may be on that vision board, smaller to-do list things that you know of, that you're gonna have to compete someone for, or you have this huge comparison in your life. Maybe you have another sibling that you're comparing yourself to, or another person in your life, a friend, or someone who's at a similar life path as you, looking for the same sort of thing. You may just be feeling this like competitive nature with them, that sometimes, can be very healthy, but seeing as we have the 5 of Swords, it's usually showing the less healthy side of it. And that you might hurt yourself or others in trying to get the things that you want so badly that you hurt people that you love in the process. Or you even maybe just put seeds of doubt in their mind, or you cause a little bit of disruption. So there is a choice that's coming in here, because we do have the 2 of Swords, and the 2 of Swords, like I said, it shows 2 different choices that you can take. So it could be that you take the high road or the low road for this, or it can also be showcasing that, like, with this competitive nature, this feeling of wanting more than you should be taking, there can be this feeling of like maybe taking a different path, or finding a way that you both can win, versus feeling like one got something more than the other. So I'm hoping this makes sense, and if it isn't, then definitely feel free to check out another pile. It feels very, very specific, but I want to look a little bit further. So let's go ahead and move on to your blessing card for the month. So this is going to be something that's going to be a blessing for you, and it might even help us unlock a little bit about what this other path may be. And another thing that I forgot to mention, because we have this family element, this inheritance element, you may even be feeling this pressure because of your family telling you you need to be moving up in life or doing this thing in life, so that might be coming through as well. But let's see your blessing card. So for this, we're using Picture Rika. These are going to be very intuitive cards in that they are only pictures and little doodles, but we're going to see what comes through for your biggest blessing for the month. So these are things that are going to help, usually either a lesson you're going to be moving through or something like that. So let's see your biggest blessing, something that's going to kind of lighten the load and give a little bit more ease to your month for April. Group 2. What do we have coming through here? Group 2. Okay, so we have the ghost. Interesting. The ghost here is telling me that you're going to be moving through a fear that you may have. And I think that, like I was saying before, you have this competitive nature, and I'll bring this up for you. We have this little ghost turning on a light and kind of feeling a little bit scared or nervous, but seeing as this is a blessing, it's going to be that you're moving through that kind of energy, that scared energy, and turning on the light energy, and being able to really sit in the dark, or being able to sit in the fear that you may have towards maybe letting down someone, or towards not being what you thought you were going to be, or that you may have to change the route that you take to get to the vision that you want without having to harm other people. See how whatever the fear is that you have towards the situation, and maybe even fear about making a new decision that's coming through here, that new choice, I do see you moving through that in a way that's going to be enlightening, right? Because we have that light over there, and it's going to unveil itself as we move through the month. I really like this card, really beautiful one too to get, as it does feel like this is driven by a place of fear, not by a place of like trying to just be rude on purpose. But let's go ahead and see a relationship card message. So I typically do a relationship message for the month for advice or the general energy around your relationship, but this time we're going to be using it based off of colors, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it with pile number 1, so definitely feel free to see what relationship you'd like to check in on. Maybe it's a friendship, a platonic relationship, a familial one, or romantic one with spirit or yourself. Feel free to see what we're looking into here. Maybe even think of a number between 1 and 4, so you can choose, top left, bottom right, as they are coordinated that way. But we're gonna see. So group 2 here, we're looking for a relationship message here of the colors and hues relating to this relationship for group 2. Group 2, the relationship, the color of this relationship at this time. Okay, so we've got 2 that flew out here, 1 that flew actually upright though. And to be honest, they're very similar cards, so I'm actually going to take this one, but just in case, I will hold this one up in case someone needed that. But here we are with the main one that we got here, and these have numbers and letters, so these may correlate to you depending on the different relationship you're looking into. Maybe a specific initial popped up here, but for N11, it's giving me like camping forest vibes, or putting your feet in the grass kind of feeling. So I do see this exploring nature, exploring a relationship a lot deeper, going into the thick of the woods with someone, that kind of feeling, like going into deeper conversations. I also see with E21 this feeling of a very rich eggplanty color. So this is giving me like nourishment from the relationship that you're looking into, a lot of enriching conversation, and maybe even financial reasons why this relationship is feeling more nurtured. Then we have D12. This is giving me more of a very bright, very intense energy, very passionate energy. And then we have G16, which feels very mellow, very calm. So see how that comes through for each of the relationships that may be coming in here with the different numbers and letters. Oh, it also says 21 here at the very, very bottom. So take that how that resonates for you. But let's see a little bit further. So I want to look into a lesson card for the month as well as an advice card from Spirit, and this could be in any way that Spirit works for you, with Spirit guides, the universe, your higher self, etc. But we're going to look first with these Harry Potter trading cards into your advice for the month and see what comes through. I've had these cards since I was very, very young, so I have such a nostalgic feeling towards them. So let's see for your lesson card for the month of April, a lesson you'll be moving through and learning this month, especially around this enlightened feeling, this competitive nature, these vision boards, and this fear you may have. Okay, so we have the Dogbane Potion. Interesting. So this is a spell, and it says here, choose one of your opponent's creatures in play and do 3 damage to it. So that this could be, again, that feeling of competition, sort of trying to weasel, your way in, or stack the odds against your opponent in a way. I'm getting this also is just telling me like maybe a lesson about a close friendship, because the dog paw that's showing up here is making me think of like not only just pets that may be in your life, so you may be learning a lesson with your pets, but I'm also getting this feeling of like the dog that you get in Lenormand, which is usually indicating a friend. So there could be, just like I said, this may be relating to a friend, and what you're going to be learning is if you're going to take the choice to sort of stack the odds against them, or if you're going to, because we kind of have this collar, right? You're going to kind of hold them back, or if you're going to give them the treat, which is giving me more of this feeling of, nourishing the friendship and nourishing that relationship and helping them to move forward, as well as you to move forward as a community, as a whole, as a team, versus kind of trying to stack the odds against them. So that's definitely a lesson to learn, and I think that's coming through with most of the cards here, is that, and if you're not exactly sure what's coming through here for you, if you're looking at this and this is just not fully resonating, see how it resonates as the month goes on, or how this resonates for you. Maybe you have a dog or something like that. That may be a lesson for you. I also just realized we have this little 5 in the corner, and then we have the 5 here, so it definitely relates to that. 5 is also a number of change, so if this is a behavior you've done recently or in the past, this is an opportunity for change, to change that up. And that may be something that's scary, to take away some of that control, but it can also be super useful as well to strengthen your relationships versus kind of build them down. So let's go ahead and see your advice from Spirit now. So you feel free to send that energy in, and any advice coming through. Okay, so we have gaze into the mirror. What a wonderful one for advice for your month, especially since everything that you have going on here. It says gaze into the mirror. It says Harry was so close to the mirror now that his nose was nearly touching that of his reflection. Mum, he whispered, Dad. So this is giving me, again, that feeling of that inheritance that we had coming through with the 10s, this feeling of like wanting to make your mom and dad proud, and that's what you see in the reflection, or wanting to make yourself proud, or a version of yourself proud, or even putting yourself on such a high pedestal that it's so hard for you to focus on anything else, right? Harry is so close to the mirror that he couldn't even see his own reflection. So there's this feeling that maybe you've lost yourself along the way, and your advice is to kind of step back, look at the mirror clearly, look at yourself clearly, look at the actions you're taking clearly, and make sure that you're not coming from like a place that is potentially harmful to those that you love and those that are rooting for you. So there you are with your gaze into the mirror. This is giving me reflection vibes as well, looking back to the past to make sure you don't repeat the past mistakes that you've possibly done in the past, which we talked about again with that 5, that change. This also can be just gazing into the mirror to maybe revisit old memories as well. This could be a very memory related month as well, where you feel very nostalgic about a lot of things, or that you're looking back at, old pictures and photographs of yourself and friends and family. But I do want to go ahead and continue further. So we've gone through all of the decks here, but I do want to pull a affirmation, and then we're also going to be pulling a couple of letter tiles for names, dates, and places within your month, and the charms. So if you are enjoying this reading so far, definitely be sure to give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below as we get further on in how this is resonating. I would love to hear your thoughts, especially since these may be hitting you very differently since we're using very different decks today. But let's see an affirmation for the month. This could be something you can write on your mirror, in your planner, that could be just really useful to you and a useful tool. So let's see. Okay, so the one that we got here is balance over imbalance. Again, another choice. It is juggling things. It is, again, a balanced amount to be looking in this mirror versus looking so tunnel visioned into it. A balanced amount of, competitive nature, or this feeling of trying to get ahead or comparing yourself to someone, the balance of that. So I definitely see that coming through for you. Let's go ahead and look at your letter tiles. I'm going to put them here. So these could be names, dates, places. These could be specific oracle messages that come through. Definitely feel free to write them down if you want, scramble them up after this and see what comes through. But here we go. Group 2. Already got one. Okay, let's see. So the one that first flew out is the letter E. So we have E, I, A, and A. So lots of vowels. So when you have a lot of vowels, that tells me that there's a lot of emotion involved in this, but not a lot of consonants. So the consonants are what makes the word actually work, right? If you take all the vowels out, you can still kind of figure out what the words are, but if you only have vowels, it's very confusing. So again, your communication could be very skewed. It can be also that, you're kind of being very cunning with the things that you say. There could be, guilt tripping or gaslighting going on here. So definitely take time to look in the mirror to make sure the actions that you're doing this month are coming from a place that you wish it to actually come from, and that it's not coming off in a way that you didn't mean to, because you don't have all the consonants here to showcase a very healthy way of speaking your mind and your thoughts. And there could even be frustration there because we have and it just feels like this frustrated noise. So see how that comes through for you. But we're going to go ahead and pull you some charms. We might get another few letters as well in this. But definitely feel free to send your energy in. This is going to give us those small bits and bobs, little nuanced details. So let's see. Group 2. Okay, not too many. This one really went for a spiral there. But yeah, we didn't have too many charms here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in. The first pile had so many, so this is quite nice to see a more refreshing amount. In that they're not too cluttered. So we have here on the 10 of Pentacles, again, inheritance, family, that vision board feeling, and then we have the Merry charm. So whenever I see this one, it can remind me of celebration, wanting to celebrate with someone, celebrate with friends and family possibly, but it also makes me think of when you ever hear about the holiday season, it's the merriest time of year, and you may be going through some really dark hard times. So this is that feeling of not having the full perspective of possibly how your family's feeling, or maybe they're feeling they don't have the full picture, right? They're thinking you're putting this face on of a smile and everything's good, but underneath, the reason why you're possibly not being able to fully communicate your needs and your wants and this feeling of that competitive nature is probably coming from a root cause of tradition that you're possibly trying to uphold that doesn't fully align with you anymore. And then we also have the miscommunication charm, and this one was immediate. Like when I was feeling out the charms, this one, like I had to take a second to just pull it out. So this is miscommunication because I personally cannot read what it says here, although I'm sure someone probably can. But since it fell near this 5 of swords, again, I do think that you're not trying to be cunning on purpose. I don't think you're trying to be rude on purpose, but I do think it might be coming across that way because you don't have the full way to speak how you're feeling. So definitely reflect on that. Reflect on how you might want to speak to someone because it's coming off in a way that is rubbing people the wrong way. So that's just something to keep in mind as a main energy coming through for you for the month of April. Other things we have the number 7 showing up here near the gaze into the mirror, which 7 is a very reflective number to me. And then you have that light. So it's shining light and really reflecting on that mirror is going to be really important, and looking at your fears and your flaws so that you can work through them and communicate them better. And then the last charm, the last 2 charms that we have here, one was spinning over here for a while, and it is the sacral energy center right above the root. If you work with chakras or if you work with energy centers, this might be something that might be useful to you in falling near the Dogbane potion, as it's all about creativity and also about passion and things like that. And then the last charm that we got here near the eye, which maybe is just relating to you specifically, or even your ego, we have the washer charm. So this is about washing away that feeling of like, and when I got that ego, it made me think of that same feeling with that Mary, like this feeling of like needing to put on airs. So it's washing that away so you don't have to be as confusing with that wishy-washy feeling, or just so that you can finally be a little bit more authentic to what you want and be more authentic to who you are when you're not being compared to a sibling, being compared to your mother or your father or a parent. There's that feeling of needing to wash through that and really look at it fully and entirely. So, wow, those are all of the charms we have here for you, Group 2. A much heavier pile, I would say. A lot more reflection is needed, a lot more well-spoken communication is needed, a lot to work through internally this month so that you can externally be a little bit better of a version of yourself if that's something you're looking for. But see what comes through for you. If you have specific charms that maybe hit you a little bit different, if you have like a pet in your life, or maybe a little ghost means something different to you, maybe N11 really spoke to you or something like that. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, and also be sure to give this video a like. It really does help so much and lets me know that you enjoyed this reading. Also, if you haven't joined this channel so far and you would like to, definitely feel free and consider subscribing to this Kindred Spirit space to enjoy other types of readings that I do every single Monday that aren't normally with hues and clues and Harry Potter cards, but other sorts of divinatory tools. If that's something that you're interested in, then definitely feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to support this channel even further, I have all different types of offerings and also a Kindred Spirit tip jar down below. If you feel called to check that out, because it definitely helps to support this space for me for all sorts of financial things that I have on my end, but also to bring a lot more decks and supplies into this space. So if that's something that you're interested in, the Kindred tip jar will be down below, as well as the snail mail reading information for private readings, and also the different magical goodies that I create for handmade spell paper and magical goodies like that. So definitely feel free to check that all out down below in the description. And with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this reading here today and the April Fool's fun nature of it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 3, but thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific tile with the blue and the purple, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set that down right here for you for this April Fool's video. It isn't specifically the day of April Fool's, but I wanted to do something fun and have my sisters involved, so I had my 2 sisters playing around back and forth to do the intro here for you all and kind of throw you off a little bit. I did this last year and I had so much much fun with them. They had a blast because obviously they didn't know my entire setup and everything, so they're a little bit more familiar with it now. But yeah, today we're going to be doing something similar to what I did last year, and that we're actually going to be using a whole bunch of different decks to play around with that aren't specifically tarot or oracle decks. So we're going to be using my charms as normal, as well as the watercolor affirmations, but we're actually going to be using a playing card deck as a tarot deck, the hues and clues cards for your relationship messages, Harry Potter trading cards for your advice and lessons, and the picture Rika cards to look into your biggest blessing for the month. So we have a lot we're going to be looking into, as well as even the letter tiles, which actually come from the game, in case some of you were wondering, the game Bananagrams, for any names, dates, and places. So like I said, lots to start heading into, so let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't already, definitely feel free to get some tea, some water, some coffee, or a cozy blanket, or anything else that may make you feel ready to go for this. And as I mentioned in the other piles, a pro tip here is this was my very first tarot deck, in a way, because it is like a standard playing card deck, but it is a great deck to use as a beginner if you don't have access to any other way to use a tarot deck. So definitely feel free to check that out and look into that if that's something you're into. But today we're going to be using it to look into the main energies for your month. So definitely feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we're going to look into 3 cards for your energy for the month of April. So group 3, what do you have going on for the month of April? So first off, we have the Knight of Wands showing up here. Interesting that you would get the Knight, because group 1 also got a Knight for their very first card. So that may make you feel, if you weren't sure if this is your pile, then definitely feel free to check out pile number 1. But we have the Knight of Wands. So much like intense energy, a lot of like you're all in or you're all out kind of energy. There's this bold feeling to this pile as well so far. So let's go ahead and see what else there is coming in for your month of April, group 3 rather, to get a little bit more information here. So we also have the Queen of Spades. Interesting. So this is the Queen of Spades, also known as the Queen of Swords. So in this case, this is a lot of strategic intelligence. There's a really good communication that comes through from the Queen of Swords. She can be very in a very different way, where the Jack here or the Knight can be very all in or all out. The Queen can be all in or all out in the idea of like feeling like someone is trustworthy or giving all of the facts or communicating well. So very interesting that we'd have these 2 different characters. These may be energies that you feel are specific to you, or possibly specific to a person in your life as sort of a signifier card. So feel free to see how that comes through for you. It may be a mom, a friend, a brother, a sister, a relationship that you're in with someone, or something like that. But let's see. And of course, the last card that came through here is the Queen of Hearts. I want to see if we can get a little bit of context here. So I'm going to see if there's anything else coming through for context. Otherwise, it just might be a very social month, is what I'm getting as well. I'm not really getting any other hits here, so I think we're going to do just a little bit more. Maybe this one? Okay, that gives us a little bit more here. So first off, like I said, the Queen of Hearts showed up. So a very social month in that we have a whole bunch of different characters here. We've got the Jack, we've got the Queen and the Queen. We have 2 different queens, both looking in different directions, which I find interesting. The way that they look can be an indication of like if they are doing well with each other or if they're kind of opposing. So we have these 2 kind of really working together and then one sort of working apart. So if you feel like you are the Queen, then you're working really well with this passionate, bold energy. If you feel like you are this Queen of Hearts, which is a lot more of that emotional energy, they are a caregiver, they are the type of energy of like being quite emotionally open, so they just really want to give, is what I'm getting, like this selfless acts of kindness, wanting to really be there for everyone. That's what I get from this Queen of Hearts. So if you feel like you're that type of person, then you may feel like you're not being as bold this month, or you feel like you might have people opposing you or getting in your way of the things that you want, because we also have the leadership card of the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands tells me that there is this feeling of wanting to be a leader or wanting to be in a leadership position. So this could be something very much unrelated to the social side of this of the card showing up here. It could just be that you're wanting to move up in your job, you're wanting to get a raise in your job, or something that you're really wanting to accomplish, and it may be moving you up to like a level up kind of feeling in your life. And I do think that is something that is very much approachable and within your reach, because the card of this usually showcases a victory. So I do think that that is something that is in your reach. And also, honestly, I really am getting that you are this Queen of Hearts, because we have you showcasing that you're getting this achievement and all of this kind of feeling, but it's not going to come from a bold place. So if you're wanting to get a promotion, or you're wanting to get, another type of level up where you need to kind of go in there and talk to a leadership and really ask for that, you might have to bring in a little bit more bold energy, as I'm getting more as an advice, and really clear communication, and moving that back into your side versus energies that are opposing you. So that might be something to think about, maybe talking in a mirror or asking for help to have someone maybe play it out, like that scenario with you, a friend or something, and go through that scenario so you'd be better prepared. Could be really useful. But see how this resonates. At the forefront of everything, I'm getting social feelings and a feeling of accomplishment, and being rewarded in some way for the hard work you've put in. So let's go ahead and look a little bit deeper. So we're going to use these Picture-Rika cards. They are really fun little doodles and all sorts of things, but they're going to be fully intuitive. And as I mentioned earlier, since this is using very different types of decks, I definitely invite you to use your own intuition here with me, as I do with all of my readings really, but specifically with this one, to see what comes through for you, as it's going to be a lot more fun that way. So let's go ahead and see your biggest blessing for the month for April. Group 3, biggest blessing. I kind of feel like you have 2, honestly. So I'm going to see if there's any other ones coming through. So, okay, we've got 2 different ones. Really interesting that you'd get that one as well, because when I was going through this deck, it made me think, when I saw this one, is being more flexible in your work environment, and then also seeing as you had that feeling of maybe needing to be more bold or ask for that promotion. It's me making sure that when you communicate, it comes from a very clear space, and maybe being a little bit more flexible with that conversation, or opening the idea of them being more flexible to your needs. So that's coming through, especially since we also have the rhino, and the rhino here is so cute, but it also is showcasing this feeling of protection and being able to really ask for what you want really directly, right? You got this very direct horn being like, this is what I want, this is where I'm going. So seeing as you got these 2 together, altogether is just giving me this feeling of you need to maybe choose one or the other. They both can be a blessing to you if you work with them together, that flexibility, as well as really asking for what you want. But one might work more for one of you, and one might work better for another. So see what comes through for you. Obviously, I keep talking about work, but whatever it is that you're specifically wanting or asking for this month, or wanting to level up in, it's going to take a bit of flexibility, as well as very direct, focused communication and passion for this to come through. So let's go ahead and see a little bit further. So now we're going to look at a relationship message for the month. So take a little break from the rest of what we have going on here, although we do have quite a few relationships happening here with that social feeling. But we're going to use these hues and clues to look into, and there's going to be 4 on each card. So definitely feel free to maybe choose which corner you're going to be looking into intuitively, but we're going to be looking into less of like exactly how your relationship is going and more of the emotional landscape around your relationships this month. So this could be platonic relationships, friendships, these can be ones with your family or spirit or romantic relationships. So if you have a specific one in mind, definitely feel free to keep that energy in mind as we start flipping through these, and focus that energy through. So let's see, a relationship message for group 3 on the emotional landscape of the relationship in which they are asking about. So group 3. Definitely feel this one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so here we are. So these have letters and numbers, so these might help you indicate which specific one is coming through for you, but we have 56 as the card, and it says here E8, O28, N7, and C23. For N7, it's giving me, similar to pile number 2, this feeling of like going into the woods with someone, really having a deeper conversation, because it's giving me that like earthy feeling, but in a very fresh perspective, right? So this is giving me like fresh green grass on your toes, spring grass, like things first springing up in the beginning of spring. So new beginnings within a relationship, a fresh energy, something refreshing. I'm also getting this really calm blue up here, as well as a bit of a creativity. And then I'm getting over here with E8, a very bold energy, almost in like a fiery hearth way. So like finally putting logs on the fire, kind of reigniting a relationship kind of feeling, right? Like reigniting the passion. And then we also have down here this really beautiful kind of purple. Almost all of them had like this really pretty purple in it, and it just gives me really playful vibes for yours. So it could just be being more playful, being more silly, being more adventurous within a relationship with someone is what I'm getting with the cards and colors that we have showing up here. But see what comes through for you. As I was mentioning earlier, you may see things a little bit differently. So next up is these Harry Potter trading cards. I've had these since I was very, very, very young, in the idea that I do like Harry Potter, but I will preface that I am definitely not on the side of the author, so just keep that in mind. But we are going to start looking into these to look into a relationship, or not a relationship message, we just did that, but to look into a lesson for your month, as well as advice coming in from spirit. So you feel free to call in that energy from spirit if you are looking for that. But first, we're going to look into a message for a lesson you'll be learning and navigating for the month of April. So the month of April, a lesson you'll be learning and navigating for the month of April. Okay, this is such a pretty card. Okay, so we have Beater grabs the snitch, the number 4. It also says, Harry learnt that there were 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul. So this is what we have coming through here. It's very foily, very fun. But what I'm getting from this lesson is this feeling of needing to be direct, like we mentioned earlier, right? The beater grabs the snitch, right? The beater is technically not the seeker. They're not the person in Quidditch in this match that are supposed to be actually grabbing the snitch. They're kind of going out of order and doing something that wasn't their specific role. So if you're wanting to head into a new role, a new leadership position, then that means you're going to have to kind of really showcase that you have the skills, be bold and be like, hey, I know how to do this, and really put your foot in the door is what I'm getting. And that's a lesson you're going to be learning, is that you're going to really need to put your foot in the door and showcase to people that you have the abilities, that you have the skills to make this happen. If it isn't career related, even though that just keeps coming through, it can be if you wanted to be bold in a relationship and be like, hey, I really like you. Or if it's something that you really want to move and level up in, it's just like you really have to be bold and put it out there that you have the confidence, that you have the skills, that you have the things that you need to do to make it happen. And I think that that's going to be a really big lesson for you to move through and navigate.
and that you kind of have to like risk it for the biscuit kind of feeling. So let's go ahead and look at your advice from Spirit moving through all of this social energy, these risking feelings, all of these different emotional landscapes, and that finally being recognized for your efforts and everything like that. Let's see an advice message coming through for you for the month of April from Spirit Group 3. Okay, so we have two here, honestly. I'm feeling both. Okay, so we have pep talk, and then we also have biased commentary. Well, I mean, I think these are actually kind of cute when you put them together, right? So a pep talk with a biased friend or family member, you can't help it. Sometimes they're gonna tell you things from a biased standpoint because they're your friend or your mom or your, really close person in your life. They can't help it. They're going to talk you up. So I think take in that energy. Like I was talking earlier, if you need to talk to someone out a script of a conversation you're going to have or how you can gain that confidence, have that pep talk, allow them to be there for you and allow them to really pep you up with that biased commentary in a good way. And I really, really just love those two together. It's just making me laugh. It's just giving me such a warm-hearted feeling. So definitely lean into that from your family and friends and let them talk you up and know that you've got those skills and really go with that biased commentary because I think you're actually going to need it. So we're going to go ahead and move a little bit further because I have been chatty with these ones. So this might be a longer video, but we are going to move to the charms. We're going to pull you a watercolor affirmation and also your letter tiles here. But if you're enjoying the reading so far and getting a kick out of these different cards, then definitely feel free to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much and I appreciate it so much. But let's go ahead and look at a affirmation. So this is an affirmation for the month of April for you, group 3. That's so lovely. So you got family and friends. I was going to say that you could write this down or something in your planner, but it's very straight to the point this time. So just an affirmation that your family and friends are really there for you this month, that they are really going to kind of talk you up and notice that you're doing the things that you want to do and that you're going to be bold and go after them. They're really going to give you that confidence. And I just love that. I just think it's so beautiful. So let's go ahead and see the letter tiles that you have coming in. So for group 3, these are names, dates, places, that kind of stuff, as well as any oracle messages that you kind of cook up together. You can even write these down afterwards and shuffle them around and see what comes through for you. Definitely play around. Okay, a lot of them here. The letters that I pulled out here first that came upright is words G, P, and S. GPS. Oh my gosh, I just read it backwards and it says GPS. That's so interesting. So it could be that you're finally getting on track or heading down a way in which you're not just following the path that, a GPS tells you, but going a little off-road. Interesting that came through. We have U, so pug is showing up here. J, jug, I guess. I, A, and E. So see what comes through for you there. I'm not really seeing anything too big at the moment, but you might be seeing something just screaming out at you. So definitely feel free to shuffle these around as I mentioned earlier. But we're going to go ahead and pull your charms to look at the final details and see what comes through for you. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space here, and we're going to pull a couple of charms. So here we go. Group 3. Okay, So we had a few of them that were just calling out to me, but I dropped them in the process. So here we are. These are the ones that did make it on here. So we have a couple of different ones. So the first thing that I'll talk about here is that we have the bee showing up here at the queen. And for me, my mom is what I see whenever I see this as the signifier of my mom, because she loves bees so much. But see what comes through for you. This can also talk about teamwork. And again, that it fell on a queen as well, is that queen bee. They are the leader of a hive, right? So I do see you moving up into a leadership position. That just keeps coming up. So a leadership position doesn't have to be just in a job. It can be moving into being a caretaker. It can mean moving into being a parent, or another sort of level up kind of feeling showing up there in any kind of capacity. We also have forward movement. So the way you're going to be able to move into this is being more bold. So that's what we're getting here with the rook, which is all about forward movement in chess. Then we also have down here at the rhino, it says here, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So interesting that you'd have the biased commentary, and then you have a clear communicator, and then the direct focus of this rhino showing up here with this specific charm, showing that sort of message. So it is telling me that, like, if you have someone trying to kind of weasel around you this month, if you have somebody that's trying to grab this snitch as well, that's trying to get the same position as you, or trying to get to that same place as you, don't let them try to, have a commentary or some sort of running commentary that isn't really true, is false. The other thing that we have coming through here is on biased commentary and around your pep talk is the bottled up charm. So this is all about bottled up feelings, or an explosion of some sort of, like, something that needs to be said. And so I do think this pep talk is really going to open up your mind to the ways that other people see you, and the capabilities that you have, and how beautiful and wonderful you are. Honestly, I want to pep you guys up so much. I have videos actually on my channel that are all about pep talks, so definitely feel free to check out one of those. I'll probably post it somewhere in the corner here. But here on the one of your kind of work fluidity card is the kind of ancient feeling of this card. Whenever I see this, it makes me think of like an ancient, like, coin, or a feeling of something very ancient within you that is kind of unlocking as it fell right in the chest. So you may have this foreign feeling of this power that's, you're kind of like just starting to gain that boldness, and that, like, you're still not sure how to walk around in these new pants that you have, this new bold energy and confidence, but I do think that it's going to come to you more naturally than you think. And then the last thing here on 028 with the blue for your relationship landscape, emotional landscape, is we have the like silver charms. This is about things not needing to be a perfect gold star or needing to be perfect in your life, and that there's going to be those imperfect moments, but they're still going to make you feel really refreshed and really loved and seen. So that's coming through with that specific color, if that's the one that you were feeling drawn towards. So wow, those are all of your charms, all of your cards here. I hope that you found something useful in here, especially since we were playing around with a very different type of reading, but I did want it to still be useful, so I hope that came through, and I hope you were able to find the little nuanced details, and if you did, definitely let me know in the comments down below if you saw pug, if you saw other words, if you had specific feelings towards the queens here, or different cards. I would love to hear your thoughts. I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially with this one. And also, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really does help. And also, if you would like to subscribe to this channel, and definitely would like to consider subscribing anyways, no pressure, but if that's something that you're interested in, I do put out new videos every single Monday for love, spirituality, career, 2-week readings, these monthly readings, and so much more for your own empowerment. and clarity, so definitely feel free and consider subscribing. And if you've been here for a while and you'd like to support this space even further to get actual tools that aren't specifically these ones, in that they are ones specifically for Oracle or Tarot or other things like it, then definitely feel free to check out the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to support this space, as well as the offerings that I provide for magical paper and spell and ritual paper. Right now I have paper for spring, but also you can look into the different private readings that I do for snail mail readings, which are also open right now. So definitely feel free to check out all of the information on those down below. And yeah, I am running out of air, as you can tell. I've been talking for a while. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Had a lot of fun here. I definitely did. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.